Hi everyone, I'm Aaron, and today what we're going to do is we're going to go over a tutorial on assemblies. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Solidworks. I'm going to go to my help. I'm going to go to tutorials, and I'm going to go over lesson 1 and lesson 2. They both go hand in hand because if you'll notice, we're going to create this part first, and then we're going to do the assembly along with modeling the second part. So we're going to go ahead and click this to open it. And we're going to go through all these steps right here. Now it also says that if you are savvy enough to go through these steps, you can go ahead and speed through them. However, we're going to take it one step at a time. But if you have watched my video on modeling, a lot of these features you will already have a good idea on how to use them. So I'm going to go to create a new model. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create and save a part document. So I'm going to hit new. I'm going to go into part. Now remember, I wanted to put this into metric mode once I hit OK. So once it comes in, you'll notice that the last time I did a project on here, I was in inches. I'm going to click that and go to MMGS, and then I'm going to come up here to save. Now it tells us to save it as tutor1. So I'm going to go tutor1 and hit save. That will help for later. Now I'm going to hit creating a base. Now this tutorial is a little bit different. Instead of step by step, it shows me what we want to achieve at the end of this section of the tutorial. So this is what I'm looking for when I get done. Now next is going to be the steps for doing it. So I'm going to extrude a boss, and I'm going to pick a plane. Well, this wants me to pick the front plane. So I'm going to select my front plane. I'm going to go to corner rectangle, and I'm going to select the middle of my part right here. Notice how it snaps to it. And I'm going to come out, and I'm going to keep it kind of close. So obviously my block gets kind of small. Now remember, using my scroll wheel, I can zoom up to make it look a little bit better. So now that I'm closer, I'm just going to roughly put it to the dimensions on here. Once I get there, I will hit escape, and then I will go into the select menu, and then I will hit dimension the base. So we have everything where we need it, and we have everything deselected, so it's not going to keep trying to make squares. And I'm going to hit next. Now it has a bunch of items here that shows you what's going on for the constraints and some different readable areas. But I'm going to go to Smart Dimension, which is right here, and I'm going to dimension my part as it shows down here. So I'm going to set my values on the box to 120. So I'm going to click, I'm going to go 120, accept, and I'm going to do the other side 120 and accept. And then I'm going to zoom out so I can see my whole part. From here, I'm going to hit extruding the base. I'm going to hit exit sketch, and it comes out to this isometric view or trimetric view. From here, I'm going to make sure under my property manager, which is right here, my end condition is set to blind, which it already is, and I'm going to set it to 30, and I hit enter. That way I can see what it's going to look like. Once I do that, I can hit OK, and it gives me my block. And I like to click off of it to see what my block looks like. It is selected for the shaded areas, and if you're wondering where that is, it's going to be right here under the toolbar right there, shaded with areas. Very good. So now I'm going to hit adding a boss. So again, once we create an image of what it wants, it's going to take us to the next section. So we're going to make a boss that diameter that tall. So sketching a boss, we're going to go to extrude base, and I like to select this surface. Sometimes when you hit normal to, the software can kind of go in its own direction, so I like to click this, which goes normal to this surface. So next I'm going to click on sketch a circle, and it doesn't matter where I put it, so I'm going to eyeball it close to the center. I'm going to click on Smart Dimension. I'm going to click the outside of the circle, and then I'm going to drop that dimension, and we're going to type in 70, and then I'm going to hit the check mark. Or I could hit enter on my enter key. And I'm going to hit OK. Now we're going to constrain the boss. I'm going to go Smart Dimension, which is already selected, and I'm going to click on the top line. I'm going to come to the center of the circle, and I'm going to click again. And then I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to drop that dimension, and we want it to be 60. So 60, check mark. And now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to select this line, and then select the center. Now, if you wanted to select the center first and then the line, you could also do that as well. 60, check mark, and now everything is constrained. So now we're going to extrude the boss. So I'm going to exit the sketch, and if I want to bring it to trimetric view, I can go to the orientation and click trimetric view. And that's just if I want to see this visual. So if you'll notice, blind is still in the in condition. It wants us to set it to 25. And I'll hit enter to give me a preview of it, and then I'll hit OK. That is now done, and it appears in my project tree. So I'm going to hit making a hole. So same thing, I'm going to hit next to put that hole into my part. I'm going to go to extrude cut. I like to click on the surface that I'm going to be extruding to. Also, you can click that surface and then hit extrude, and it works both ways. So there's a lot of ways you could do it. This is how I'm showing you. I'm going to click circle. Now this time I want it to be in the center of it. So if you'll notice, I'm going to put my cursor right here, come to the center, and you'll see that it shows that center peg. We want those symbols to show. Now I'm going to click, open up my circle, and drop it by clicking again. And now I'm going to smart dimension it by clicking here, clicking on the edge of my hole, and I'm going to click 50 and click OK. So now I have that fully constrained. So now I'm going to hit next. It's going to ask me to exit the sketch, and then I'm going to go into trimetric view, and then you'll notice that it says in the property manager under the direction, the end condition, we're going to change it to through all. And then I'm going to hit OK. And if you'll notice, by holding the scroll wheel, I can rotate my part to see that it did go all the way through. So next we're going to do is adding the fillets. Now we're going to be careful on our clicking here. We want to make sure we grab the right positions. So this is what we want to achieve. Now we're going to go through the steps on achieving it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on fillets. Under type, it does have the right constant size fillet selected. I'm going to select the front base, and then I want to change the parameters to 5. So I'm going to hit 5. I'm going to click off of it. Now notice how it only shows that area right there. So I'm going to go to full preview, and now it's showing me a full preview all the way around just like this. And the next thing I'm going to do is I have to select the 4 corners at the base. So I'm going to click these corners and take your time. Remember, I'm going to hold my cursor down to rotate. I'm going to click, and then I'm going to click. And as I rotate, I can see that I have all the right ones selected. At this point in time, I'm going to select OK, and then we're going to keep on going. Now we're going to create a fillet on the boss. So we didn't create one down here. That's where we're going to put it. So I'm going to go back to fillet. So now we're going to go to fillet, and we're going to select the face of the part. So right here, the face of this boss, and it's already set to 1.5. And if you want to, you can always just click it again to make sure nothing changes. I'm going to go to full preview, and you can see the face of the boss is selected, and then I will click OK. So next we're going to go is to shelling the part. So I'm going to use my cursor to roll it around, okay? And then I'm going to select that surface, and then I'm simply going to select shell. So if I click on the next steps, that's exactly what I'm doing. So I've rotated it, I've got a hold of the back, I'm going to click shell, And under parameters, I'm going to set the thickness to 2. And I'll hit enter. Now once I click OK, you'll see that it is all there. So that looks really good. So now I'll hit creating a section view. So I'm going to go back into trimetric mode. And then I'm going to go right here to my viewing bar. But if you'll notice, it's right there. So it's a little bit to the left of where I'm usually at. So I'm going to select it. It wants me to come down to the property manager under section 1 and click top view. So section view, I've got section 1, I've got front plane, I've got top plane, which is what it wants me to do, and then I've got these other planes if I wanted to do that. So it wants me to grab my top plane, and then it wants me to grab the arrow, and it wants me to pull it up to about right there. And then I'm going to hit OK. I can rotate this view to see different areas of the part, which is very useful depending on what you're looking for. And when I'm done, I simply click it again. And now I'm going to save the part. So click save, and we're good. Now we're going to go to editing some of the features. We're going to make some modifications to this part. So I'm going to go into editing the base feature. In trimetric mode, we'll put it there. I'm going to double click on the boss extrude over here. So when I double click it, not a lot happens. Okay, it's just going to show me my dimensions. So I'm going to double click on the 30, and I'm going to change it to 50. I'm going to click OK, but it hasn't rebuilt it yet. So right here, I'm looking for that button right up here at the top. So when I click it, if you watch my view, it rebuilt everything from that base, which is very helpful. And then I'll click save. And then we'll go to the next one, which we're going to modify our fillets. So the base fillets were created in a single feature. We're going to change them. So in this feature manager design tree, we're going to click on fillet 1. And when I click on it once, you'll notice there's a little window that pops up. I'm going to come up here to edit feature. In here, I'm going to come down to where it says items to fillet. I'm going to right click on face 1. And I'm going to click delete. So there we go. All those fillets are removed. Now the remaining, I'm going to change them to 10. So I'm going to type in 10, hit enter, and you notice how they did get bigger. Now I'm going to click OK. So I've gotten rid of the top fillets, and now I've increased the size of these. We're going to go to recreating the face fillet. In the feature manager tree, we're going to place the pointer below the shell. So we're going to come down here and we're going to grab this line and we're going to place it above shell and we're going to let go. Now from this location, because that's where we're currently at, I'm going to go back into fillet, and then I'm going to come down, I'm going to select the face of the base, but we're going to change the radii to 5. So we're going to go 5, enter. Notice how it got smaller. And I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to drag and roll the bar below the shell feature again. And now has activated it, but it has taken and put the shell back onto it. So now we're going to add realistic appearance. Now realistic appearance will work if you have a good video graphics card that Solidworks recognizes. So we're going to see if it'll work for us. So I'm going to go and click shaded view on the toolbar. So up here, I'm looking for shaded. I'm going to add the real graphics, the symbol right here, to the viewing toolbar. So I'm going to add that right here. So I'm going to click on tools. I'm going to come down to customize, which is going to be down here. I'm going to go up to commands, and under categories I'm looking for view. So I'm going to scroll down here to view. I'm going to click it, and then I'm going to find that symbol, which is this one right here. I'm going to click and hold, and I'm going to drag it right up here, and I'm going to drop it so you can see that it is there. So I'm going to click OK. And if you'll notice, my real graphics is not grayed out. If yours is grayed out, that means your video card is not recognized by Solidworks. And this is about as far as you can get. So I'm going to come up here to my Real View Graphics. I'm going to click it. I'm going to click on my part up here. I'm going to right click it. And I'm going to go to Material, Edit. And you can see my steel, okay, in my drop down. I'm going to select Chrome Stainless Steel. So right here, I'm going to click Chrome Stainless Steel, and I'm going to click Apply. Once I click Apply, I'm going to click Close, and my part now has everything done. So again, my name is Aaron Runt. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and on my next video, I'll be doing the assembly.